How many players does it take to stop SGA? One player?
Shai dismisses Davon Reed.
Two or three?
What a move, SGA fighting his way through the lane, and SGA elevates at the rim.
Or what about the whole team?
SGA, long strides, left hand, takes a bump, counted in a...
Let's find out as we put Shai Gilgeous-Alexander to the test. Picture this, 5 rounds, each with more players trying to shut him down. We all know SGA is a problem. He's a lethal two-way player and an isolation assassin who turns defenders into dust in his highlight reels. So buckle up, grab your popcorn, and let's see just how unstoppable SGA really is.
Round 1.
I mean, we kind of gave it away with the isolation assassin comment. So Shai against one player will be a no-brainer. So we'll start off with an easy one.
Anthony Black on him.
Shai squares up down low against Anthony Black. I love how Moritz Wagner jumped in for like a split second to double team and then was like, actually never mind, and scurries back to Caruso. But the whole time, Anthony is pressing in on Shai. Right when Cole Anthony decides to help, Shai turns quickly and hits Anthony with the smooth fadeaway.
6'7", matching up against the 6'6" Gilgeous-Alexander.
With the ball going over the backboard. Now this is just the tip of the iceberg in round 1. Against the Wolves, Reed steps up to the challenge, but he probably regrets this decision after.
Now he's back in, going to work on Reed. Hesitation!
You got 4 Wolves engaging in Shai, while Anthony Edwards is like, nah, I know how this is gonna go down. And to be honest, this isn't the first time he cooked a player who tried their best on defense. Like Eamon Thompson sticks to Shai like glue.
Trying to jab him.
Even gets a piece of the ball. But Shai pushes through with the shoulder, and the rest is history.
Ball loose. Shai get the pivot foot down, and SGA.
Klay Thompson does the exact same job here, but there's just no stopping Shai.
Alexander spinning, shooting, score. It doesn't matter.
I mean, the problem players run into anytime they square up against Shai is the high possibility they'll end up taking the foul. So they're kind of left with the choice. Do I just give the man 2 points, or try to defend him? Or third option, do I try to defend and look like a fool?
Marshall defending. Marshall falls. Shai open. And
Now, before we move on to round 2, it's clear how easily Shai can get to the bucket. But sometimes he likes to mix it up and keep players on their toes. For example, starting at the top against Markkanen, Shai puts on a typical drive and then pulls off something that leaves Isaiah Collier completely lost, literally.
As Shai keeping that dribble going. Oh, what a pass!
Like, check it out from this angle.
And another key for the Thunder is moving the... This is like a laser pass right.
And well, on a side note during that game, OKC forced 29 turnovers on the Jazz, which was tied for the most they've forced since the team moved to Oklahoma City. Kind of makes sense why they have the best defensive rating in the league, to be honest. Okay, let's get on to...
Round 2. Fight.
Can SGA make it through 2 players? What else does he have in the bag? On this play, he's up against Grimes. He tries to drive, but notices Powell in the lane and stops to redirect somewhere else. I mean, he looks pretty stuck here. He's got 4 seconds to make something happen. Y'all think he'll actually make it to the rim? Well, I guess there's only one way to find out. Oh, and before we hit play, notice how the Mavs have the entire section covered down low. So in other words, Shai is about to walk into Mission Impossible.
Move at 5. Spins away, cuts down the lane, switches hands. Pretty finish with the...
This guy just pulled off a 360 before entering the paint, and then gets it through Grimes and Powell to finish with a hand switch.
KO.
Like, this is insane. Clearly, he can get through 2 players. So right off the top, it's an easy pass for round 2. But while we're at it, is there anything else Shai has to offer? I know Shai is one of the best offensive players in the league, but again, also on the best defensive team in the league.
Boston raises up. Oh, man. Here he is at the other end.
Shai shuts down Brandon Boston, and in the same play walks down low, gives Jemison the shoulder to create space, pump fakes Jemison and Murphy, while also engaging Jalen Noel just behind him, so you could say there are 3 players involved here. But it's when Shai hits him with the fadeaway over 2 players, and it's a wrap from there. Like, you just can't stop this guy. First, 360s, then blocks, but those fadeaways are tough, like even on this play against the Jazz real quick.
There's a whole lot of movement on this.
Shai drives in against 2 7-footers, so he just uses that to his advantage with his classic putting on the brakes and then hits them both with a fadeaway. So round 2 was a success. Let's head into
Round 3. Fight.
Takes a little ball.
now that we know SGA can make it through 2 players, will he get through 3?
SGA back on the floor. Drives in, contact, spins it.
Well, are we surprised? The man cuts through Jordan Poole and Keyshawn George like Swiss cheese, and then in mid-air redirects his layup to navigate around Justin Champagny. Like, this dude is making it a nightmare for defenders. So what do you do about it? Maybe try double teaming? Let's put it to the test. Against the Magic, Shai starts against Bitadze and Caldwell Pope. Runs in fairly easily. Not sure why they didn't put that much effort on him, to be honest. I guess everyone is just afraid to try anything at this point. And then comes up to Jalen Suggs.
Bitadze trying to keep him out of the lane, and SGA.
So once again redirects and makes the massive cut through Suggs and Caldwell Pope for the easy layup. So I guess double teaming is of no use. The Clippers also tried this and added a third player into the mix, but instead
Shai turns off.
failed by taking the foul and giving Shai the and one. To close the third round, is it even possible for Shai to get through any more players? On this play against the Wolves, Shai starts with McDaniels at half, zips around him, and then also past Conley. But now he's up against Alexander Walker and Gobert. And at one point, you'll notice not 3 but 4 players engaged with SGA.
That'll be a little more inconspicuous SGA. He's been bending deep.
And yet Shai being Shai isn't even phased and hits the smooth jumper. I guess when you're third in the league on points per game and not a 3-point shooter and the Western Player of the Month in December, being able to do what he does kind of makes sense. Anyway, it's time for
Round 4. Fight.
Going back to the Wolves again, SGA cooked this game, putting up 40 points by the way, and does it with style.
Well, they play defense. SGA slithers his way.
At the top of the 3, you see he's against Conley and then gets passed with the pick to now face Edwards, Gobert, and Alexander Walker. And rather than taking a jump shot like we saw on the last play, Shai decides to cut through all 3 players. And it's a wrap from there. Again, this was 4 players who were engaged with Shai, and this wasn't the first time during that game. Now on a quick side note, this was a terrifying night Anthony Edwards will never forget as he watched SGA absolutely dismantle the Wolves, shooting 15 for 23 from the field and 3 for 5 from the arc. As a result, Anthony didn't hesitate when asked about Shai, and his answer was the MVP of the NBA. I guess Anthony just saw way too much, especially after Shai put up 19 points in the third quarter alone. And well, speaking of the third quarter, Shai closes it with a bang.
41 point third quarter. Shai able to shift DiVincenzo.
First, he gets DiVincenzo out of the way, that's 1. Then Alexander Walker, that's 2. And then drives down low to Randall and Reed, 3 and 4, and cuts through them like it's nothing. I cannot wrap my mind around this dude, like just crazy. Now we got just one more play before we move on to the last round. Against the Clippers, Shai pops through Jones real quick, dodges Coffee on the reach-in, and then somehow gets through Harden and Zubac. And to top it off, this was another 40-plus point game for Shai this season. Now I gotta be honest with y'all, I did not think we would make it to round 5. If you haven't noticed the pattern by now, each level we show has fewer highlights because, well, the obvious reason is harder plays don't happen all the time. But as we said from the start, we wanted to see how far Shai could go. So without further ado, let's check out
Final round. Fight.
Against the Kings, Shai walks in from half court toward Kevin Huerter. Then he drives in down low toward Fox and Jones, with Huerter still chasing him, puts on a 360 to get rid of them, and also sneaks past both Murray and Monk on the right, who could either reach in or try to block, but either way, he's got the whole team engaged on him.
You know, he was guarding Fox on that play.
Shai, nice spin move.
And as a result, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander makes it through an entire team. I think it's safe to say that after becoming the runner-up last year in the MVP race, with the way things are going for Shai and OKC this season, it won't be a surprise if Shai becomes this year's MVP.
Just happy to bring the fans back to the playoffs.
All right, thanks, guys. Congrats.
Hold on.